Session will be on surface engineering aspects. Sir is Dr. Jiten Kumar Katiyar, research professor at SRM University, Chennai. Pursued both PhDs from IIT Kanpur. Actively working in manufacturing tribology area. He will be delivering on various surface engineering aspects. So I would like to request Dr. Jiten Kumar Katiyar sir kindly start his session.
Hello Rahul, I am audible.
Yes sir.
Actually, your voice is very low, so I thought that somebody is talking. Earlier, some voice coming.
Okay sir. Okay sir. It is
So can I
audible.
start?
Yes sir. Please sir.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. I am sharing my slides.
Sure sir.
Yeah, my slides are visible to all of you.
Yes sir. It is visible.
And my voice is audible to all.
Yes sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rahul, to introduce me and in front of the participants who joined here for listening this talk. So I'm very much thankful to Dr. TVK Gupta ji for giving me opportunity to deliver my thoughts over the surface engineering aspects, because that is also very important aspects in metal additive manufacturing. How you can engineer the material surface, that is very important. So I'm very much thankful to Dr. TVK Gupta who gave me a chance to deliver the talk in this 5-day AICTE ETL Academy sponsored workshops. These are my contact details. If you, after completion of the talk, if you have any further queries or curiosity, you can write to in these below given details. So before moving ahead, I am just give my brief introduction. I am Dr. Jiten Katiyar, working in SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Previous to that, I just completed my doctorate from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur in 2007, and I completed my master's in same institute in 2010, and then bachelor's in Uttar Pradesh Technical University. Presently, that is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam University, Lucknow, with honors. I'm also guest editor in many special issues which is floated in international travelology research symposiums, and I also editorial board member in Travelology Material Surface Interfaces, that is uh, Taylor and Francis Journal. I'm review editor in Frontier in Mechanical Engineering. I published 30 plus articles in reputed journals, 30 plus articles presented in the international national conferences, 15 plus book chapters, and 8 books already published, and 3 to 4 books next year it will come. So these are my brief introduction in this regards. I'm my area of interest in modern manufacturing technology, polymer composites, and surface coating, surface engineering, and then friction materials. So these are my area of interest. If anybody is interested, please contact me, or you can contact to Dr. TVK Gupta. So today's talk is very basic fundamentals. I'm not giving much more research aspects, but I just give you the basic fundamentals, which is very important in any research. That is very important. So that's why I just kept the title is Fundamentals of Surface Engineering and its applications in various fields. So when we talk about the history of that particular surface engineering, then it is not very new. In 1900, Thomas Edison is first engineered the surface, that is of gold films. This is plating gold. They have plated the gold films in that particular trace. So after that, 1983. Vargas was among the first develops the plasma and ion modifications equipment to modify the surface in a vacuum. So ion planting process developed in 1960 was significantly a step forward in plasma assisted coating deposition, through which you can deposit the plasma assisted coated material over the surface. And ion planting was the first truly industrial surface engineering process. So that is the basic history starting from 1900 to 1983 and present scenario. Nowadays, we are using the thermal spray coatings, laser sintering process, laminated object manufacturing process, direct energy deposition process, binder jetting process to modify the surface. So what is the surface engineering? That is to protect the surface from any environment. So it is defined as a sub-discipline of material science, which deals with the surface of solid material. So like here, there is the raw material, this orange color you can see, and this you can add some primer and then you can do the coating. So that is also you have engineered the surface. Means when you do the painting on your door, then what you will do first, you can coat the primer so that it can protect from the corrosion, and then you can coat the paint. So life of the paint will be increased after that particular using of primer. So means that there also you can use the surface. You have performed this in surface engineering. So it is a sub-discipline of the material science that deals with the surface of solid materials, and that solid materials compose the bulk material, and the surface is bound. This bulk material is called the surface phases. Different phases is occurs in that particular material. So surface engineering involves means you have alters the property of the surface in order to reduce the degradation over the time. So it depends. So surface engineering, how you can perform in the means like you have seen the perform through the heat treatment. So you have hardening the surface, means you have engineered the surface so that it will not degrade throughout the time. So particular time period, it will improve their existence. So that's why the surface engineering is very important. Then surface engineering refers to a wide range of technology which is designed to modify the surface property either by metallic means or non-metallic means on different components. Whatever the component, either you are using the turbine blades, cutting tools, uh, anything, anything you are using, that surface engineering is very important in all aspects. So it improves the corrosion resistance, it improves the wear resistance, it improves the life of the component, and also it can improve the means aesthetic appearance of the component, and also it can improve their wettability of the component. So that's why the surface engineering is very important in all the field of mechanical engineering. So here you can see that the various examples of the surface engineering process. Here you can see that the piston rings, pistons, over which you can perform you engineered the surface by improving their properties, their lubricant properties, their wettability properties, their wear properties, their frictional properties. So how you can done it? Either you can do it by coating process, or you can do it by the texturing, or you can do it by the multi-layer coatings, or you can do it by the plasma spray coating process, or either heat treatment process, that is a nitriding process. So these are the various examples how we can perform the surface engineering, even though in metal additive manufacturing is also a sub part of the surface engineering only. What we'll do, we just coat a few micron thickness over any component by using the laser beam or by using the electron beam. So we are using the source of energy to deposit the material over the surface. So here we are using the plasma. So that is a plasma deposition process. Either we are using the laser, then there is a laser deposition process, or either we are using the electron beam, then that is called the electron beam deposition process, or we are using the ion beam as a source, then that is known as the ion beam deposition process, which is used for ion beam is used for the nanoscale purpose. So here we are working in the combination of the chemistry aspect, physics aspect, and mechanical engineering aspects with their metallurgical means or material science means in that particular stream. So it can be done on a given surface by metallurgical, mechanical, physical, and chemical means, or producing by the thick layer or thin layer of the coating over the surface. So this coating may be metallic coating or non-metallic coating, through which you can improve the surface of the product. So why surface engineering is very important in any in manufacturing basically. So in an engineering component usually fails when its surface cannot be adequate withstand the external forces or sometimes environment to which it is subjected. So the selection choice of the surface material with appropriate thermal, optical, or magnetic propertical or electrical properties and sufficient resistance to wear, corrosion, degradation is crucial to its functionality. So it is not possible in that base material. So we can do we can do the surface engineering, or we can engineer the surface by performing the surface coating, either by additive means or by anything. So additive is nothing but when you add the something to the surface. So that is additive. So surface engineering provides the additional functionality to the solid surface, which covers all these aspects in with the help of the coating, or sometimes you can functionalize the surface and activate the surface, and also you can perform the plasma treatment over the surface. So that's why the surface engineering is very important to improve their wear resistance, corrosion resistance, degradation property, or electrical property, magnetic property, optical property, thermal property. So there are various fields of where it is required. Optical property means whatever the objective lens you are using, so it will not erode with respect to time. It will give you the good image. Then we need to coat the lens. So that's why this surface engineering is using an optical lens also. So what are the benefits of the surface engineering we are using? So benefits is we can improve their frictional resistance property, wear resistance property, fatigue property, corrosive property, reflective index, emissivity of any surface. When we do the additive manufacturing, then emissivity of the material is very, very important. So it should not be more, it should not be low. thermal and electrical conductivity, biocompatibility. So when we use this surface engineering, we can improve their life of the component, improve the things, means wear resistance, oxidant resistance, corrosion resistance, improve their solderability, improve their electrical conductivity, improve their durability, so that we can produce very less waste. And surface engineered automotive part and component can extend the warranty and reduce the emissions. So we can also coat surface engineered the valve, so they can withstand for the 5 to 10 years without replacement. So these are the various examples where we can perform the surface engineering in cutting tools, in forming dies, in automobile parts, in decorative parts like in a watch, whatever watch we have seen that chain in the watch, dial of the watch, we have performed the surface engineering to improve their life. So nowadays watches are also coming the scratch proof watch. So there is no scratch over the watch, no dust can be stay there over the watch. So that is possible because of the surface engineering. So it is a very wide scope in the mechanical. So how you can choose the correct things. So first we identify the failure of an engineering component occur. So when its surface cannot be adequately withstand the external forces. And what is the environmental condition we are using that particular component? And what are the loads that component is occurs? So due to which type of the failure over the component it is observed. So first thing you identify the failure mechanism. Then only choose the correct surface engineering methods. Then like what type of the external forces, thermal, optical, magnetic forces, thermal forces, optical forces, electrical forces. These are the external forces. Sometimes require the surface modification. We don't require further more modification. Then we can only use the uh, uh, like we modify the surface with some other means, like we just do the PVD coating, physical vapor deposition, or chemical vapor deposition. And when we perform this, the economic benefit as per this 2005 RSIC report, Research Scientific International Community, that is from UK, they just reported that the surface engineering market, this coating market, is approximately 21.3 billion pound. That market is huge impact in the GDP of any country. So it is approximately 5 to 7% of GDP. Means add in the any country if you have perfectly engineered the surface. Then if you can surface engineering is done, then we can go for the different characterization methods. How you can formulate the surface, what are the new coating methods, what is the mechanism behind that particular one, what is the surface degradation properties, and how we can improve that particular properties. So these are the basic things. Before going into the final stage, we analyze in the laboratory scale. So surface modification is done without changing the material chemically. That is very important. So we are not disturbing the chemical. Means substrate, we are not disturbing their material property of the substrate. We are only altering the top surface of the substrate. So there are three types of the processes which we use. Thermal processes. In thermal process, we can go for the surface heat treatment process. Just wait. So we can go for the surface heat treatment processes like hardening, nitriding, those are one process. And when we talk about the steel or cast iron alloy, low carbon alloy, so we want to harden the surface by laser cladding, by laser flames or induction. So if we are using the laser as a source, then we can go for the sub classification like such as the laser cladding. That is also one type. Selective laser sintering. Like if you are using the flame, then that is your gas gas welding or gas flame process, induction process. So where we are using the temperature, and that is known as a thermal processes. When we are using the mechanical means, then these are known as mechanical processes through which we can alter the surface, like short blasting, explosive hardening, surface of beam forming. So where you can induce the compressive stresses over the surface so that your hardness and fatigue resistance can be improved. Or sometimes we can create the surface textured. So that is also improve the property. Other properties, other processes through which we can change the surface phenomena by chemical and electro etching, laser engraving, or other various chemicals. So according to the need, we can select the proper chemical to enhance the surface properties. Here we are not changing the material chemically. That is the important point in the surface modification. So surface modification is changed by the changing the surface chemistry only. So on the top of the surface, we have only play the role. We are not going inside the substrate properties are similar, but surface property we are. So diffusing process like carbonitriding, nitriding, boronizing, carbonizing. So these are the various thermochemical process. Other new element goes into the interstitial positions like chromizing process, siliconizing process, aluminizing process. So we impinge the foreign particle inside the particular one. So that is also used in some application in semiconductor when you use the interstitial positions. Electrochemical processes like anodizing of aluminum and titanium, chemical conversion coatings, phosphate chemical blacking, chromating, or ion implantation process. So these are the various methods which we use to surface modification by changing their surface chemistry, not changing any material chemistry. So surface engineering process, there are a few steps. First step, surface modification is done without changing the material chemically. Surface modification is done by the altering the surface chemistry only. And surface modification is done by the adding new material onto the surface. That is a coating, or you can say laser cladding, and any additive manufacturing. So you are adding some material over the surface to improve the property of that particular component. Either turbine shaft, turbine blades to improve their wear property, corrosive property, mechanical property, other impact strength and other things. So we can coat. So these are the basic three phenomena we can perform the surface engineering. Either we can add the new material onto the surface, or you can modify it by the altering the surface chemistry only. You can play the surface and either without changing the material chemical. So that you can also perform the surface engineering process. So these are the three phenomena which is predominantly used in any mechanical component. So evaluation and significance of surface engineering is very, very important nowadays. In architecture, in coating aspects, in various automotive industries, gear industries, in nanomaterial, nano texturing, or nanostructure development. So from this picture, you can clearly see that in 1980s only we have performed the single component. We are using single component coating. So this is the one substrate and this is the one coating. Then after that, after 10 years, after 1 decade, we can found that we can coat multi-layer in that particular 1990s. And then 2000 and further beyond that, we can make the nanostructures, develop the nanostructures over the surface, superlatic structures. Just wait. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Can you call me after 1 hour because I'm taking one lunch? Okay. Please call me after 1 hour. So in 2000 beyond, what we'll do, we have developed some nanostructures over the material to enhance the surface property. We can develop a nanostructure material for their wettability, and also we can perform some adaptive or smart methods to develop the surface. So these are the evaluation in that particular surface engineering, and we can also perform the functionally coating that modify the biocompatibility and optical and analytical properties of the critical component. So this functionally coating medical study is used that this biocompatible coating is performed. And the other you can see here the drill bits, cutting tools where we perform the coatings. So this is the basic overview of surface engineering. Either you can do the coating or you can modify the surface. As per our requirement, we can go for this. So that's why this is the very important slide to understand where we want to hear. So what is the meaning of this particular surface engineering? So it is easily you can correlate with this FDP also. Maybe so many researchers tells about their research only. So this slides gives you the basic understanding of that research very easily. So here you can see the surface modification. So surface modification either you can do by the thermal aspects only, you can use the thermal energy like surface hardening process. So surface hardening is performed by the flame hardening, industrial hardening, electron beam hardening, laser beam hardening, or laser or electron beam both you can do it. So here we are only focusing on the thermal aspects. So temperature plays a very important role to modify the surface. Further, either thermal and chemical. So temperature as well as the chemistry plays a very important role. So in that particular case, what is the main thing? So diffusion of the non-metallic like carburizing, nitriding, carbonitriding, borizing. So these are you have diffused some carbides or nitrides over the surface to enhance their hardness or corrosive property. Or sometimes this surface modification we can do it by the mechanical means like short peening, laser peening, surface texturing to enhance their hardness as well as fatigue property of the component. So that is the one part of the surface engineering. Another part, if you are working in the form of coating. So there are different phenomena. Either you are working on only in coating a thermal aspect. So you are using the temperature. That is very important role play in the coating. So hard facing like oxy-fuel welding, arc welding, plasma welding, laser or welding, hot dip welding. These you can perform. Mechanical aspects means roll cladding, explosive cladding, friction surfacing like friction stir welding. You have done it. Or friction stir coating, you can solid state surfacing. So that you can use in that particular coating of the surface, over the surface. If you are using temperature as well as the mechanical means to coat the surface, then it is known as a thermal spraying process, plasma flame spraying process, HBOF process, like high velocity oxy-fuel process, high velocity air fuel process, plasma spraying process, electric arc spraying process. There the temperature is play also role, and also the mechanical means is play a role. So that comes a part of the additive manufacturing. So these you can perform by cold gas spray also. Chemical means like electrostatic plating, you can make the coating of phosphating, chrome plating, sol gel processing. Electroplating is also you can done it like nickel plating or electrogalvanizing. These are called electroplating. These are called electroless plating, where electrical and chemical is there. Here only chemical plays an important role. So these are the different phenomena which we are using to enhance the life of the component in terms of their wear resistance property, in terms of their corrosive resistance property, in terms of their durability, in terms of their mechanical property. That's why it is very, very important. So our main focus on this additives manufacturing to enhance the life by using these process. I hope everyone correlate their research work, whatever you have listened till today, with this slide. So materials property, as I told you, it is very important. Bulk, that is not change, strength, density, ductility, but surface property we plays a very important. So hardness, friction, corrosion, oxidation. So these are called the surface property. Bulk properties, strength, density, ductility. These are called the bulk mechanical material property. Surface property means hardness, friction is surface property. Wear is also a surface property. Corrosion is surface property. Oxidation is surface property. So we are only playing with these surface properties to enhance the life of the component. So what are the surface properties like corrosion, oxidation, wear, erosion, hardness, conductivity, emissivity? These all are surface properties. So when we select the thickness for coating techniques, there are wide application of the coating techniques is there. So what is the thickness? Here we have placed the temperature in y-axis and x-axis the coating thickness. So when we coat in nanometer range, then we can select the PVD coating, CVD coating, chemical processes and implantation process. But when we go for the micrometer range, then we can go for the thermal spray coatings like HBOF, HBAF, plasma spray. And if we can coat more, then we can, means in macro scale, then we can go for the welding process. So these are the classification of surface treatment according to the thickness with respect to the temperature. So whatever our aim is there, we just select the particular substrate temperature. So basically in laser cladding or HBF, we are working on in this range. So we will develop in one go at least 10 micron to 1000 micron coating. So 1 mm coating in one layer. So that is up to you, up to us, how we can play with the parameters. So surface engineering gives you the, either we can perform in the gaseous state or we can perform in the solution state or semi-molten state, molten or semi-molten. So in gaseous state, we are working on the physical vapor deposition, chemical vapor deposition, where material is evaporated and deposited over on the other substrate. And solution based like sol gel or electroplating, we dip the two rod like electroplating, then which rod we want to coat, which rod we want to evaporate the material, and coating over this. So we need the electrolytic solutions. This molten and semi-molten material, we need the power. So laser, thermal spray, or welding. So we just melt the material and that diffuse over the surface. So that is a molten or semi-molten state. So classification of the coating is basically three types: vaporized chemical vapor deposition, physical vapor deposition, or thermal spray coating. So basic mechanism of the coating which you performed over any surface, either it can be mechanically bonded each other or it can be diffusion. So laser cladding, in laser cladding, what you will do? In laser cladding, we diffuse the powder over the surface. So there diffusion occurs due to the high temperature of the laser source. So that diffuse the material in substrate. Means if this is the substrate. In this substrate, the material is diffused and it form a coating. So that is the two mechanism is basically either diffusion process or mechanical bonding process. So important parameter which is very important at the substrate coating and interface, like this coating is should be roughness. What is the roughness? Erosion, corrosion, friction, porosity, and electrical property. And if you want to talk about the bulk in a coating, then we also talk about the stress. We need to know about the stress, residual stresses, because it is a bulk coating. So how much residual stresses are generated? What is the adhesion? Either if any cracks or defects is not there, and multi-layer is there, cohesion, what is the cohesion between there? And when we talk about the interface between these, either a coating and substrate, then we talk about the adhesion. How much is the adhere with this coating over the substrate? Cleanliness, roughness, interdiffusion phenomena. So that is very important. So sometimes what happens, it is not properly adhered. So when we perform the tribological test, then coating is delaminated from the surface. So it is due to the poor adhesion between the coating and substrate. So these are the parameters. It is very important to optimize when you perform any such type of the surface engineering problem. So surface property improvement triangle is like surface modification techniques, and you can functional properties and characterization. So in this way, we can optimize the parameter by hit and trial method, and for optimum parameter we can use for particular applications. So as I presented here, the different examples of surface modification in different industries, like if you talk about the aircraft or gas turbine industries, so their parts which is very crucial, like turbine disc, turbine blades, rotor shaft, seals. So which type of the problem for which coating is required? So there the fretting gear is there, hot corrosion is there, hot erosion is also there. So that in rotor shaft fretting gear is there, like blades, it is hot, so corrosion and erosion both, because in gas turbine the particle atmospheric air that you can suck and you compress that particular air and it sends a strike over the turbine blades. So their corrosion and erosion both place. So erosion is due to the physical phenomena and corrosion is due to the chemical phenomena. So both place in the turbine blades. So that is very important to maintain for longer life. In automobile engines, what are the parts which are more crucial or severe uh, in that particular system, like nozzles, cylindrical jackets, liner, piston heads, crowns, camshafts. So in camshaft, fatigue wear is surface fatigue wear is more predominant wear. Crowns, corrosive wear is there. Piston heads, thermal fatigue is there. High temperature corrosion in cylindrical jackets. So further, in textile machineries, the different types of the rollers we are using, drives, dryers we are using. So in all types of the component, this abrasion and wear is more predominant to reduce the life. So these are the problems in different industries, like glass work or diamond work. So we use the dies to develop the glass. Bushing plates, we develop diamond polishing pads. Molds we use. So in diamond polishing pad, abrasive wear is there. Molds, because that interact with the hot molten glass metal. So hot corrosion and abrasion takes place. Paper and pulps industries, these are the different components which is more severe to uh, for maintenance, like grip rollers, transport rollers, folder rolls, guide plates. So these are the different here phenomena occurs in each type of the component. Chemical and petrochemical industries, we are mostly using the pipes. So corrosive wear is more uh, predominant wear apart from abrasive fatigue wear. Power plant, we are using the turbine, gas turbine blade or steam turbine. It is corrosive and erosive due to the strike of steam. Furnace pipes, boiler tubes, coat shuts. So these problems is occur. So in all the industries, the surface engineering plays a very important role to reduce the maintenance cost of the component. If one time shutdown is occur, then huge loss in that industry. So that's why the surface engineering is very important, or additive manufacturing is very important in that particular industries. So there are different types of the techniques we have adopted by the industries to engineer the surface. So plasma or ion-based surface engineering process. So here glass surface can be easily, you can treat it, and it is virtually pollution free process, and it is easily you can automate it by the robotic arms. And by this property, you can enhance their corrosion resistance and wear resistance, fatigue strength, biocompatibility, as well as the combination of these properties you can easily achieve by these methods, plasma and ion-based surface engineering process. Another types of the process is electron beam physical vapor deposition process. So here you have the material coating ingots, and this is the vacuum chamber and this vacuum gun. So here you have the horizontal manipulator. So electron beam is fall over this and that can be coated over the surface. So that is the electron beam physical vapor deposition process. So this electron beam physical vapor deposition process is widely used to bond the PVC test titanium boron carbide base over that turbine, which is used in the jet engines. So you have coated to improve their corrosion resistance, thermal resistance, or wear resistance properties. So that electron beam physical vapor deposition process is widely used in these applications. Then another types of the coating which is very predominant in the real estate, that is called the hydrophobic coatings. Hydrophobic coatings means like it is a very beautiful example of lotus leaf, where if you drop one water, it will roll out. So in real estate, there are multi-stories buildings is there, and it is not possible to clean the glasses very frequently. So it should be means coat the hydrophobic material over the glass, so that even though dust particles also roll out, and it is known as a self-cleaning property. So you are enhancing the self-cleaning property of any material. Means it is also in textile industries. They are working on the self-cleaning cloths. So means the dust particle will not stick in your cloth. That is also available in the market, but that is too costly. So that self-cleaning cloth dust particle will come and it will roll out. So that is very important, and that is the uh, research area where nowadays most of the researchers are focusing. So this can be performed either by plasma resistive chemical vapor deposition. And here you can see the example, the water is in the form of at least 150-degree angle. That is a super hydrophobic surface. Then another kinds of the surface engineering, you can done it by plasma etching. So this process is performed any substrate to improve their adhesive property. So here plasma etching improves the adhesion property of any substrate, and it can cleanse and activate the surface in some means, and it can reduce the toxic chemicals from the surface. And few examples is that particular plasma etching of autophasia. It can improve the paintability and service life of the component. So it is wide application of the materials ranging from metal to polymer plasma etching process. So plasma etching cars. So like you can perform the plasma, means your whole body is going inside the plasma, and you can clean the surface with the plasma etching process, and you will get the shiny surface after completing this chamber. So that is widely used in automobile industry. So another kinds of the surface engineering process is plasma nitriding process. Here you can see the very big industrial pictures, industrial scale plasma nitriding facility, where we have the very big chambers, that is a vacuum chambers, and we can coat the material in presence of plasma. So plasma is nothing but is the fourth stage of the gases, and it can deposit over the surface to improve the corrosive and wear properties. So either connecting rod, camshaft, hot extrusion die, mold blocking plates. So these are the wide application of the plasma nitriding process. Then thermal and plasma spring process. So here we have a jet, plasma jet, and where we can cool through the water inlet and the water outlet. So cool the nozzles, and we can produce the plasma at this jet, and it can deposit powder comes over this from another nozzles, and it can convert into the molten stage, and due to the high pressure through the compressed air, it can go strike the substrate. So here half MV this kinetic energy of this particular molten material is converted into the potential energy. So in that way you can coat the surface substrate. That is called a thermal or plasma spring process. So here you can provide the very thick coating that should be a 20 micron in a very large scale. So here you can coat the material in the form of alloy, ceramics, plastic, composite. That is as per our applications. So basic principles of the plasma space systems according to the heat energy, according to the kinetic energy, it is divided into four groups. Either we are using the flame, or we are using the arc, electric arc, plasma spray deposition process, or high velocity oxy fuel process, or high velocity air fuel process, or plasma process. So we have having the different phenomena in each process. So here we have the plasma jet, and it can powder feeder is there, and that whatever the gases comes out, that convert into the plasma jet and deposit over the surface. So in that HBF and other things, powder feeder is very important. So here we have the powder feeder, and this nozzle, there is a gas, and this coming out there. So here, like that, laser cladding is also you can perform by this process. So this is the comparison of various thermal spray process as per our applications requirement. We can select a particular accurate process for various applications. So cold spray is also used nowadays to improve the life. Air plasma, vacuum plasma, wire arc. So this is the table is well established comparison between the different processes. Further, when we move to that particular advanced coating technologies, then these are the called nanoscale technologies like physical vapor deposition, where you have the base material and here your substrate material. So what which substrate you want to coat over this material, that you just kept inside this crucible and you heated up this crucible. And what happened due to the heat, this converted into the molten stage and it vaporized and it will coat it over the substrate. So in this we have hybridized this surface. We utilize the both properties of physical vapor deposition and chemical vapor deposition. So we can say that the hybrid physiochemical vapor deposition process to deposit the thin film over this technique. So these advanced coating technologies, which is used in that aerospace and automotive, surgical equipment, ties and mold for all manner of material cutting fluids, firearms, optics and watches. So that hybrid phenomena is widely used nowadays. So it is whole process is performed in that particular vacuum chamber. So physical vapor deposition, further we enhance this things. So here you can see that the, how you can do the heating by induction coils. We can heat and we deposit the film over the substrate and we can see the IAFM image and we can found that the thickness is approximately 4.8 nanometer. Very thin surface we can adopt it by this physical vapor deposition. So even though titanium nitride, zirconium nitride, chromium nitride, you can physically vapor deposit over any substrate. So this technology is widely also used in the food packaging, balloons, coating for the cutting tools, metalworking, the mechanical engineering. So these are the various examples or semiconductor industries also in metallization process to create the ICs. So this physical vapor deposition is widely used. Chemical vapor deposition is here you have the gas precursors. So you can develop the silicon oxide over the surface. So precursor gas is deposited over the substrate and here we have the heater and that precursor gas is exhausted at one side. So in this way, we can create the monocrystalline, polycrystalline amorphous, epitaxial amorphous material by the chemical vapor deposition to improve their life. So these applications is widely used in automotive industries, gear industries, cutting manufacturing industries to improve their life of the component. So these are the further examples you can see in terms of product also in gears also how this important in that particular CVD or 2D coating in automobile and other industries. Even though in hard disk you can see that coating is performed by this physical vapor deposition. That hard disk is coating is 10 nanometer. So future direction of in the PVD and CVD coating is like here. You can see here the nano composite coating we can develop. So novel coatings we are developing in 21st century. So sponge type coating, sculpture coatings we can develop, like some porosity we have in the coating. This type of the texture surface we can multi-layer coating we can perform over the surface. We can develop that structure over the surface to improve their life of the component. So these are the future direction in the PVD and CVD coatings. Now I just showed you the one example of the surface texturing, how improve the life of the surface texturing. So here we have the workpiece, and that workpiece we have the CO2 laser guns, and we perform the texture over the surface, and we just use the gun diameter 19 micron. And this we can perform the surface characterization by 3D optical profilometer, and then we can coat the SU8 coating polymer over the substrate and then perform their tribological test. So for texturing purpose, we just use the mask. That is very important. And then other parameter which is very important to control the fluorescence, pulse, scanning speed, pulse rate, and size of the mask to get the proper textures over the surface. So here you can see that the 3D optical profilometer, how we can beautifully develop these textures over the silicon wafer. That is and then we can coat the polymer material to improve their life. So pillar heights which we observed is 20 to 22 micron, and this distance between these two pillars is 200 microns. So that is easily visible by this texturing. And another beautiful things when we talk about this texturing, as what we observe in the SEM, that is very important. So uniform textures with combination of the subtextures, which is observed in that particular texturing. And this is a SARC type of the phenomena. You can see the very beautiful, the SARC image, SARC skin surfaces looks like that. So textures, whatever we have developed, that is very beautifully covered with that SARC skin. So it can reduce the friction and wear in a very excellent manner. So what this surface texturing is engineered the surface, SU8 surface into the SARC skin with the play of that particular laser power and other parameters. That is the one example of surface engineering. Now we can move to the nanotechnology. Then ion implantation is very important. So it is means diffusion of some species inside the silicon wafer. So ion implantation is used. So it is widely used in semiconductor industries to improve their electrical properties, chemical properties, or physical properties. So ion beam is assisted deposition, so that where you have the electrode, and that electrode is deposited due to the high ions deposited over the surface. So that is called the ion beam assisted depositing process, through which you can develop the nanostructure in semiconductor industries. So another type of the process which is used in additive manufacturing also, like laser cladding process. So it is also known as a direct energy deposition process. So it is one of the most promising technologies in additive manufacturing. And in this process, we use the laser beam as a source of energy, and that diffuse the powder with the metallurgical means over the substrate. So that due to that particular diffusion of the powder, the thin layer of the powder is coated over the substrate. So due to the means melting of the powder, we can achieve the good diffusion between with the good metallurgical bonding, very less dilution and of added material and substrate, so that the original property of the coating materials are maintained. So for very better understanding of this process, here there are two basic phenomena or two basic issues developed, because when you are using the laser beam as a source, then distortion and temperature, these are the two basic phenomena, is very predominant. How you can control these two phenomena. that is very important. I hope that will be discussed by some other speakers in this lab. I am not going through in detail. I just told you that these are the two basic phenomena which is very important to control in the additive laser cladding. So here you have got the laser as a heat source, melt the material, powder, deposit the thin layer of substrate by the metallurgical bond. This is the basic mechanism involved in the laser cladding. So here you can clad layer by layer. This is the nozzle. Laser light is falling. The powder is also coming out through the powder filter, and it is deposited over the substrate. So one layer, another layer, another layer. So another issue is also in metal additive manufacturing is that how you can control the adhesion, means how you can improve the adhesion between these two layers, how you can improve reduce the porosity between two layers. That is the another problem in that particular laser cladding or any metal additive manufacturing. So when we work on the research aspect, then we just properly optimize the parameter, then only we will get the better adhesion and less porosity between the layers also. So these are the various examples where turbine blades are completely eroded due to the erosion, cavitation, damaged pumps, compressor turbines, and hydro turbines. So the repair cost is sometimes very large amount, and due to the repair, you can shut down the your production. So that damage also to our society. So means if you shut down the production, you will not get any benefit. So that is also not feasible. So these are the various examples. So that's why this additive manufacturing is very important, or surface manufacturing, surface engineering very important to improve their life for longer time. If this turbine or blades is wear out in 1 year, when you surface engineer, it will go up to 2 years. So that adds the more in that particular in terms of the money. So these are the other examples. The turbine blades, runner blades is worn out due to the cavitation. Guided plates is wear out due to the corrosion, and other plates you can see that damage is occur over the surface. These things we can done it by this means proper laser cladding or additive manufacturing. That is the application of the additive manufacturing, and this is the pictures. I thankful to the Srinath Engineers Industry Nagpur who provided us this beautiful pictures of their work floor where they are having the robotic laser cladding machines, and their the laser beams spawn and deposit the substrate. Further, I just want to show you that if anybody is interested in modern manufacturing technology, I have written the book where I have covered in detail the modern manufacturing technologies in additive manufacturing, the present aspects in the metal additive manufacturing, what are the problems in the metal additive manufacturing, and future direction of the metal additive manufacturing. So few glimpses of this particular book. I just showed you that modern manufacturing technology, as everybody knows that it is a throughout the decade global market continuous struggle of the innovative design and manufacturing, so that we can get the very precise shape and quality of the product. So that's why these modern manufacturing technologies are very, very important to develop the near net safe product with minimal wastage, with minimum cost. That is also another task in the manufacturing industry. So these are all covered in that particular book. So as I told you, this modern manufacturing technology, this classification which I made with some literature and other things. So advanced casting, advanced forming, advanced winding, advanced machining. In advanced machining, we are using advanced finishing, advanced cutting and shaping. So these are the various modern manufacturing technologies which are used. Further, we can go for the modern manufacturing.
Excuse me, sir. 1 hour is completed.
I will complete within a 5 minute, Rahul.
Sure, sir. No problem.
And this modern manufacturing for the semiconductor industries and like this ADP is related to additive manufacturing. So there are two types of the additive manufacturing: polymer based metal or metal based additive manufacturing. These polymer based additive manufacturing is more or less everywhere is used in lab scale. Also, we are using the FDM process, 3D printing process, lithography process. So these are the polymer based process. But our main focus on these metal additive manufacturing. So this is our future of the research, like electron beam metal, directed energy deposition like laser cladding, binder jetting, metal fuse deposition, atoms, DMLS, dielectric metal laser sintering process. So these are the various metal additive manufacturing which is used and all described in that particular book. So additive manufacturing, everybody knows that what is this. Fundamentals, which is used in additive manufacturing, we create the CAD model, 3D printer, layer the model, and then we can build the part. Then these are the steps which we used in that particular common steps in most all types of the additive manufacturing techniques. So these are the common steps which is all used. So we can convert our file to STL file, slice the file, then go for the machine finish and part. Before that, it is huge investigation is required, like in terms of product design, mathematical data analysis, so we can read the things. So this is the selective laser sintering, just for example. So thank you very much, and I have well explained in that particular book. So thank you very much to listen last 1 hour 10 minutes. So now floor is open for discussion.
Thank you, sir, for your knowledgeable words. Now I would like to request all the participants, like those who have any questions, they can like ask.
In this lecture, I showed you the basic things. So if you are working in some area, so at least you should know the basics phenomena which is suitable process we can use to engineer the surface. That is very important. Apart from that, for frictional and tribological tests, we can use the pin-on disc, reciprocating test, tribo tester, pin-on disc tribo tester, or abrasion tester, erosion tester. So these are the various other tribological tests. I have not gone through in that particular further detail. So I just showed you the very basic things, which is very important for any research point of view. Any questions? I am very happy to answer your questions. Rahul, I think no questions.
Yes. Any
Everyone, I
questions?
think, understood nicely.
Yeah, might be like they 100% they understood.
Because that is not a hi-fi things. That is a very basic things, but it is required to know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct only. Any questions from participant?
Because I hope Dr. Deepa Srinivasan gives you the intertwined plates, that surface engineering over the turbine plates. The lecture was.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, one question from my side.
Yes, Deepak.
So what is this dilution ratio in laser cladding process?
So it is depends on the application. So it should be not more than 15%.
Okay, what are the different factors on which it depends dilution ratio?
Means whatever the power you are using, that is one thing's intensity of your laser beam power means power is scanning speed. So this dilution is basically depends on this intense power and scanning speed. That is the two major factors through which you can control the dilution ratio.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
I think no other questions.
Okay, if there are no questions, then once again, I would like to thank Dr. Jitendra Kumar Katiyar for his nice session and letting us some basics regarding surface engineering aspects in additive manufacturing, and again introducing us the modern manufacturing technologies. So once again, thank you, sir, for your nice session.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul, and best wishes for your PhD. And thank you, Dr. TVK Gupta, sir, gave me the opportunity to deliver the talk, and I just share my thoughts related to surface engineering and their importance, various applications with respect to additive manufacturing. Also, I showed you some examples. So I hope you have learned something and some takeaway from these lectures. Thank you once again and have a nice day to all of you.
Okay, thank you, sir.